Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside by my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media. We are at Punt and Pass on X and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at Fromm Jake. Puntandpass.com, the number one destination for all things college football. Huge shout out to our YouTube channel as well. Go subscribe to that, youtube.com/punt and pass, or you can type at Punt and Pass into YouTube. It'll pop right up. Rate, review, subscribe. Check us out. It has been a lot of fun because this college football season has been crazy. We are on to week 11. It goes by so fast, Jake. I just can't
That
believe
doesn't even
it.
sound right.
It just flies by. You know, it seems like there's a little bit of a stretch early on in the season where it's kind of slogging along. But, man, once you hit Halloween, which we're now past, Thanksgiving will be here in no time, and then poof, the regular season's gone. Yeah. Good thing for college football fans, though. Now the college football playoff is so long. The college football playoff rankings are out. Georgia's heading to Starkville. We got some other top-tier matchups in the SEC. Of course, LSU, Alabama. I'll stop there. What's up, brother? How are you?
Yeah, man, what's going on? Yeah, Caroline looked at me last night and dead in the eye, as serious as a heart attack. She goes, Thanksgiving's only 3 weeks away. You know,
That's right.
this is happening fast. Christmas will be here before you know it.
Yes.
And, this college football playoff kind of gives, fanatical fans an opportunity to have another mini season at the tail end of the college football season. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to come down to the wire of which teams get in. And it's a lot of fun to talk about, even now more so when the initial bracket has come out. So it's going to be exciting times.
Yeah, so the first rendition of the college football playoff rankings came out on Tuesday night. I got to be honest, I was surprised. It was status quo. I thought they would mix things up a little bit just to try to get some conversation going among college football fans, but they did it. We'll get to that in a little bit. Georgia heading to Starkville for a noon kick. It's their first noon kick of the entire season. I have a lot of thoughts about this game. We'll play some clips from Kirby Smart as well as Ernest Green in their weekly press conference getting ready for Mississippi State. Hey, how about this? LSU hired a university president and an athletic director, so they are kind of getting their house in order before they go after a new head coaching hire. And my man Dabo Swinney at Clemson, he's under fire, but I'm kind of in his corner, which is a bizarre thing to say. I have not been.
Wow, yeah, you have not
in the
been
past.
Recently. Yeah, that's
that's
new. Can't wait to hear this.
He's making a lot of sense. I'll just say that. We're going to get into all of that, but first things first. Hey, this episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks. That's right. No better time to be on the PrizePicks app than right now. Why? Because you watch sports, you play PrizePicks, you win cash. It's that simple. And it gets even better. When you use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT, your first $5 entry, well, it gets you $50 instantly, win or lose. How good is that? Tell a family member, tell a friend. As the holiday season rolls around, it's just fun to be on there because there's so many sports on. You're around friends and family. It makes things more exciting. Again, promo code PUNT, your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly, win or lose. There is nothing better. And the free-to-play contest is still going on. NFL free-to-play contest is what? Free to play. You can win prizes up to $1 million. There is no better place than PrizePicks. Follow them on social media at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app. And again, use the promo code PUNT. When you play your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly. I'll give you the DB3 piece later on in the show. Shout out to PrizePicks. And today's episode of Punt and Pass is brought to you by Humberto Injury Law. If you've been hurt in an accident and need a team that fights for you like we fight on the field, Humberto Injury Law is here for you. Humberto and his team know what it takes to win, and they'll stand by your side every step of the way. They've done it for me. They can do it for you. That's not an ad. That is the truth. Humberto Injury Law has won for me. I got in a car accident. I won a settlement. Humberto Injury Law helped me do that. They can help you do the same. The #1 personal injury and workers' comp attorney in Atlanta. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com to learn more or call them today, 770-888-8901. 770-888-8901, HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. All right, the Dawgs are heading to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. How about a head scratcher here? Georgia is only a 7.5-point favorite. Yeah, that is interesting because Mississippi State is unranked. They only have one SEC conference win. the same point spread as the Florida Gators had against the Dawgs last week. As I mentioned, Jake, it's a noon kickoff. That's 11 a.m. local time. The game is on ESPN. But listen, Mississippi State has been feisty. They played Texas close. They played Florida close. They took Tennessee to overtime. They almost beat Arizona State. I mean, this team has some talent. They got their first SEC win last week against Arkansas. Could this be a trap game for the Georgia Bulldogs?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dangerous game. They did beat Arizona State, and they've been tough to play at home. Tennessee came in and played in Starkville. Texas obviously did as well. I mean, look, this Mississippi State team has been taking teams down to the wire.
Oh, yeah.
They're feisty. Kirby's been giving them a lot of praise in the media and in his press conferences. This is kind of like really the same thing as playing Florida last week. Like, hey, I don't know why the wins aren't there, but they're talented. They play hard. You have to watch out and you have to respect your opponent. And I think Kirby is taking all the precautions necessary to make sure that this team doesn't slip up now, because they still have Texas on the schedule and they still have Georgia Tech on the schedule. Just cannot afford to just blow an opportunity and blow one here in this game on the road in Starkville.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They beat Arizona State, who at the time was ranked 12th in the country. Right now, I think Arizona State is 6-3 overall. So Mississippi State beat them in Starkville 24-20. They took Tennessee to overtime and lost to Tennessee 41-34. Their quarterback threw a head-scratching interception when they were setting up a game-winning field goal attempt against Florida, and they lost to the Gators 23-21. And then, of course, they were up like 17 points in the fourth quarter against Texas and totally blew that game. Texas beat them in the fourth quarter 24-7, and then they lost that game by 7 points, 45-38. So, to your point, they play hard. Kirby Smart's talked about their style of play. Kirby Smart seems like he's not taking this game lightly, Jake. Here is Coach Kirby Smart in his weekly press conference on Mississippi State, and even more specifically, head coach Jeff Lebby.
Another week in the SEC, as we all know. Really good opponent, Mississippi State. Jeff, I know well, and a good guy, and done a great job with their program. The energy, enthusiasm coming out of that programs, you can see it in the way their kids play. They got no quit in them. These guys have competed. They have been in every game they've played. They have upgraded the talent level since he's been there. You look at the group he's put together defensively, offensively, and special teams. They got really good players all over the field. Our guys are going to be up for a great challenge this week. We're going to their place, and when you play on the road in the SEC, trust me, I played a lot of years and coached a lot of games at this place. It's a tough place to play. They have great fan base, and Jeff and his staff have done an incredible job. So we're looking to start getting ready for these guys.
I mean, I think you hear it right there, Jay. Kirby Smart's not taking this lightly. And, when he was at Alabama, that's when Dan Mullen was at Mississippi State, Dak Prescott. I mean, Mississippi State was a pretty formidable team back then. And it was kind of always one of those trap games for the Crimson Tide, of course, during their dynasty years, where they would go on the road and people would kind of circle and say, hey, watch out for Mississippi State here. So I think he understands what it means to go there, what it means to play there. I guess my bigger question to you is, going on the road, this is the Dawgs' longest road trip of the season so far. It's an 11 a.m. local kick. I'm not downplaying Davis Wade Stadium. I have played there. We lost there in 2010. It's just a different environment to play in, right? Some of these SEC stadiums are grand cathedrals. I'm talking Neyland. I'm talking Bryant-Denny, smack dab in the middle of campus. So much commotion, the big-time game atmosphere. This is going to be different. It's not a grand cathedral. It's not having this 7:45 primetime feel around it. It's going to be early. The cowbells are going to be out. The fans at Mississippi State are going to be fired up, and so are the players at the opportunity of taking down a top 5 team.
Yeah, just from the history of Georgia playing at noon, usually that's just a bad recipe, but I actually think it plays into their favor in this game, and not allowing the crowd and the cowbells to make a bigger factor than it could be. I still think it's crazy that they're allowed to have the whole cowbell situation. Like, that just seems, definitely like an upper hand when it comes to crowd noise and the things that you can do. But I think playing at noon / 11 a.m. Really plays into their favor. Hey, wake up. Let's take care of business, and then let's get home. And I think that much needed rest will actually play a factor in the week after as well. Going from a noon game to a night game and being able to get back. So, I mean, this team, they've been on the road here recently the past couple of weeks. I'm not terribly concerned about playing at 11 a.m.
Right.
So that's I think it actually plays in their favor.
Okay. Well, you bring up a great point, and you tease that the Texas-Georgia game has been announced as a night game. It'll be a 7:30 kick on ABC next Saturday night, so Athens will be lit for that one. There's no question about it. And I like how you said, look, this team's been on the road for a while. Like, they're kind of in their groove right now of understanding what the roles and responsibilities are on these road trips. Could Kirby Smart feel uncomfortable in Starkville, or has he felt uncomfortable in games this year, having been trailing a lot more than they've been in the lead? Here's what Kirby Smart said about what it's been like having to play from behind seemingly every week.
Yeah, Kirby, with the amount of close games y'all have played, especially since the start of SEC play, do you feel the comfort level of this team growing in close games as y'all play more of them, or do you feel like those are situations this team has kind of taken to ever since the beginning of the season?
I don't ever feel uncomfortable in a game based on the score. I'm uncomfortable in how we play sometimes, but it's not about the fourth quarter, the first quarter, the halftime. It's not about the score, because we really don't make it about that. If you want to dominate someone, you don't look and check and see what the score is halfway through. The objective is to dominate them, and there's no scoreboard when you start talking about dominating somebody. You look at it at the end of the day and see if you did, and we haven't done that very often in terms of dominating the way we want to, but we'll continue to try to.
First things first, if you're watching on YouTube, I like that sweater. I think that's a good looking old school sweater. It's got like the block Georgia on it, straight across, Nike crew neck sweater. Somebody at the equipment department, holler at me, because I like that one.
I'll talk to Will for you. Yeah, dude, some of the old stuff, like, I think it's really cool to kind of bring back. I think it looks good. It gives a little bit of a nostalgia, like your granddad, like grew up wearing that.
Absolutely.
On Saturdays,
Absolutely. But more importantly, what Kirby said there, I think, makes a ton of sense. Hey, I'm not uncomfortable with the scoreboard. I'm uncomfortable with how we play sometimes. And he knows, you might have a bad first quarter. Can you make it up in the second quarter? You might have a bad first half. Can we make the adjustments to make it better in the second half? You might have a bad 3 quarters. Can you make it all back up in the fourth quarter, as Georgia has done at times? How about this next clip, though? Because you tell me where he got this one. It's not about the results. All we're worried about is the process. Roll it, Jared.
You guys are 7-1 with making stops at games, with games in the balance, but lacking in forcing turnovers and getting sacks. What do you make of that for your defense, that it's not necessarily holding you back?
We've been that way before. We have never been a sack machine. If you look at it statistically, we've never been a turnover machine. We have been better defensively than we are right now, but a lot of that has to do with the culture of the league, what we're playing in, the parity. I'll take the strengths we have, work with them, try to work on the weaknesses, and worry about the process and not the results. That's what we're worried about right now.
I mean, that is a Nick Sabanism, if I've ever heard one, 100%.
See, like, that quote really kind of pokes me, because any coach that I've ever had, I can always put them into one or two categories. Are they a process-oriented coach, or are they a results-oriented coach?
Very fair. Yeah.
The thing is everybody knows it comes down to results.
Of course.
But how you get there, to me, determines everything I need to know about you. Right. And so I had a coordinator. I wouldn't say coordinator. I would say coach. I want to be very, very vague here. But like in the league, and he was just very results based.
Can you play?
Right. Can you play? Like, hey, how you got to throwing this deep ball or post didn't matter to me as long as you threw it and had and completed a touchdown.
Yeah.
To me, that's not how you play the quarterback position. You have to be process oriented, and at times you may not get the results you want, but you have to hang your hat on a certain process and doing it over and over and over again, and that way you are able to repeat it. So I don't know, that really hits home to me because I feel like I was always a process oriented person. And the results came, and sometimes the results were not there, but you have to live and die by your process, because if you live and die by being a results-based person or coach, you will drive yourself crazy because you have no rhyme or reason for how you got there. You just lucked up and you got there.
So well said. So well said.
Sorry,
I mean,
that got me going this morning.
But
I had to put on my
perfect.
coaching hat there.
I absolutely love it. It's 100% perfect. And, I think when people say, or when you hear coaches say, hey, I'm not worried about the results, we're just trusting the process, we're process oriented. I think to a casual fan, that might just sound like a throwaway line. It might sound cliche. But when you listen to Nick Saban say it, and then you look at his results, you're like, wow, there might be something here. When you listen to Kirby Smart say it, and then you look at his results, you go, maybe they are very process oriented. And that's the difference. They truly are process oriented. And to your point, Jake, when you are process oriented, the results become more consistent. If you're more results oriented and all you care about is, can you play? Do you make the play? Are you a gamer? You are far more inconsistent. That is not a way to make a living as a head coach in college football. That's not a way to make a living as a player in the National Football League or even now in the SEC. So I just think that when you hear guys say that, hey, we're process oriented, the results will follow, and they have the results to back it up, you should probably run your radar up and be like, hey, these guys really might be process oriented. And I've listened to a lot of Nick Saban speeches. I've been in rooms where he has spoken before, and damn if he does not just always say it. All I care about is the process, the process, the process, the process. And look, it makes sense because he's got the results. And so does Kirby Smart. He's stacking them up as well. I love what you said there, Jake. I 100% agree. Hey, what is an offensive lineman for Georgia going to do when the cowbells are going crazy? None of these guys, I don't think, have played in Starkville. Here's starting offensive lineman Ernest Green on the cowbell situation in Starkville.
Have you ever played a game where cowbells were involved?
No, I have not. Ironically, I haven't, no.
How are you guys kind of preparing for that atmosphere that Davis Wade has?
Well, we only worry about the 11 people on the field, so I feel like that's just an external factor. And, once you really get in the game, in the mode, you don't really pay attention to the crowd noise or anything like that anyway. So we're just making sure we execute and communicate on the field, so that won't be a factor.
Some of the young guys on that offensive line had really no choice but to play early in the season because of injuries. But how valuable is it now that if you have to come out, one can play right tackle, that you guys have a lot of options because guys were forced to play earlier in the season?
Well, yeah, that's one of the things since I've been here. We've always rotated 6, 7 deep at the offensive line position. That's a premium plus or advantage, you could say, as far as just being able to switch guys in and whatnot for whatever situation may be. So I'll definitely say it comes back to how hard we work and being able to prepare and stay ready for whenever your name's called.
I mean, I love what Ernest Green said there. He goes on to say, hey, there's never any excuses at a place like Georgia. Like if one guy goes down, it's next man up, and you better be ready. And you better be able to perform when your number is called. You've seen that at no position more than the offensive line for Georgia so far this season. But like he just said, it's almost become like an advantage because so many guys have gotten reps all across the offensive line. They could just plug and play and go make it happen. So the offensive line is going to be up for a big test this weekend, Jake.
Yeah, we've seen that all throughout the season, especially it comes to front of mind for me in the Tennessee game. Guys were getting hurt. Guys were not having a good game. Hey, switch. Let's move guys around. And being able to find a congruent group to figure things out. And then later on down the road, you just never know what kind of bumps and injuries pop up throughout the season. And they just have seemed to settle in. The offensive line was a question mark, so to speak, right? The first 4 weeks of the season, maybe, but they have really settled in and have seemed to be a strength, not only of this offense, but of this football team. And I mean, to me, that is just a huge testimonial to this offensive line group.
Yeah, and the coaching staff as well, because I mean they were catching some heat early on in the season.
sure were.
And you look at the
The
broader picture, and you're like, what
Yeah.
do you expect them to do? They don't have anybody who's in there for any consistent times. Like, how do you expect them to be able to gel in, word of the day, become a congruent group, as you just said? So, look, I totally
you like that, didn't you?
Yes, I totally agree. Again, Dawgs, 7.5-point favorites at Mississippi State, noon on ESPN this Saturday in Starkville. All right, quickly, the first rendition of the college football playoff rankings came out on Tuesday. Jared, go ahead and throw up the graphic. I was surprised here, Jake, because I thought for sure Ohio State would not be number one, if for no reason than to just have people talk about why they're not number one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ohio State 1, 2, Indiana 3, Texas A&M 4, Alabama. The exact same as the AP poll. Georgia's 5, Ole Miss is 6, BYU 7, Texas Tech 8. They're playing this weekend, BYU and Texas Tech, and then 9 and 10, Oregon and Notre Dame. 11 and 12 are Texas,
Oklahoma.
and Oklahoma. So we got the projected bracket. We could put that up there as well. Of course, these are from ESPN. Any surprises here? I saw somebody said Georgia would be projected as a 21-point home favorite against Memphis. That was the 5-12 game. And then I think Oregon would be Ole Miss would be like a 17-point favorite against Virginia. So that's the projection on the first round, which of course are at the college campuses. The projections are Georgia would host Memphis. Texas Tech would host Oregon. That'd be a good game, the 8-9 game. Ole Miss would host Virginia. They've got Virginia projected as the ACC champ. And then BYU would host Notre Dame. That would be a fun game as well, Jake.
Yeah, so my couple things I have here. One, looks like they switched Oregon around a little bit to just do something a little bit different than the AP poll. I think Oregon's listed at 6 on the AP poll, and they're listed at 9 here. I think that was like the biggest switch up that they had of a difference. One thing that absolutely jumps out to me, because you mentioned it, Georgia being a 21-point favorite against Memphis. Whoever that 5 seed is, man, is sitting in the driver's seat. Like, that is a great spot.
Oh yeah,
to be in, man. You're hosting a home playoff game. You know, if you're able to miss your conference championship game and get that 5 seed and host the group of 5 champion there, like, that is a great spot to be in. And arguably Ole Miss is in a good spot too.
Yep.
With this beat up ACC team. However, I know they have struggled as of late, but a beat up a 2-loss Miami team that somehow finds a way to get in the conference championship and win. Watch out for that team, because they could make a run at it. And then I also want to say, watch out. There is a scenario where Georgia and Georgia Tech play on Black Friday, and then turn around and play each other in the first round of this playoff, depending on how seeding goes. You never know. Georgia Tech could go on a run and win their conference, and then Georgia could be this 5 or 6 seed and host a home playoff game and get Georgia Tech back and play them again. So that is a completely reasonable possibility here with this college football playoff, and a little bit more pertinent to Georgia football fans.
Okay, that is highly interesting. There's no question about it. The Georgia Tech game is going to have so many playoff implications. There's no question about it. Yes, I know Tech lost last weekend, which kind of takes the juice out of their sails, but they will have every opportunity to still make the college football playoff, given they can take down the Georgia Bulldogs, which again could mean that they are in for a rematch in the college football playoff. That game will probably be in Athens if it were to work out that way. So here, Booger McFarland was on ESPN. He was like, I don't get why Ohio State's number one. I think Texas A&M has the better resume. He even said I'd be okay if Indiana was ranked number one, because at least they went out to Oregon and took down the Oregon Ducks. Booger was just essentially saying Ohio State's best win against Texas in week 1, like, it not doesn't as look impressive as we had thought it would be earlier in the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially, with Arch and kind of his how he has progressed over the season. At the beginning of the year just seemed to be kind of rough for Texas and for Arch specifically. Now they've done some good things here a little bit as of late. They still have not figured it out over a 4-quarter football game, but there's not a better time for Texas to figure that out than at Georgia here next week. But anyway, Virginia and their schedule coming up, they're projected to win the ACC. They play Wake Forest, they play Duke, and they play Virginia Tech. All three of those are very winnable football games. And who they get in the ACC championship, I have no idea. But right now they are kind of in the driver's seat, it looks like, in the ACC.
Yeah, as always, it fluctuates so much. So we'll, of course, keep tabs on that as we continue to monitor the college football playoff rankings. Quickly, we had mentioned it. LSU hired their university president and athletic director. So it seems like they're getting their house in order to make a run at a big-time head coaching hire. I want to ask you about Brent Key, Georgia Tech's head coach, because I think he's a coach that's going to get a lot of inquiries, maybe from Auburn, maybe from Penn State. I saw some flight trackers on social media that had tracked some planes from State College, Pennsylvania, which of course is where Penn State is, down to Charlie Brown Airport, which is in Fulton County or Cobb County. I'm sorry. Not exactly PDK, which is right next to Georgia Tech, but quickly, do you think this has anything to do with Tech dropping that game last week? Do you think Brent Key might have his eye on the prize elsewhere? I would say no, but there are no coincidences, Jake Fromm.
No, there's definitely no coincidences, especially when it comes to just
dollar bills,
dollars
bills,
and hiring of coaches and time spent on that. I've seen it from a lot of different angles. Don't think that they don't understand what's at stake, and trust me, they get it as something that is a big deal to them and their family. There's a lot of dollar bills to consider, and I think that Brent Key would be doing himself and his family disservice if his agent didn't entertain options.
And it's not like I'm saying he's having meetings, but his agent probably is. And of course he's hearing about it.
If I'm Brent Key and my agent's not having a few phone calls, I'm a little upset because I'm at least leveraging one job to get more money at my current job the job that I am currently doing, which is a good one.
No doubt about it. I 100% agree. So we'll keep tabs on that. Dabo Swinney, I'm just going to touch on this real quick.
Yeah, you wanted to. You teased it earlier.
It sounded like he has been a listener of Punt and Pass for the last 10 years. He goes on this rant because of the pass interference call that cost Clemson in the game. He goes on a rant, and he says, this is absolutely ridiculous. Officials are people too, and they need to be held accountable in the public light. They need to answer the tough questions. They need to face repercussions because he mentions we got these gambling issues going on. Kids are getting suspended. We got kids getting in trouble doing stuff X, Y, and Z. They're getting suspended. We got coaches not performing well. They're getting fired. You got athletic directors making bad hires. They're getting fired. Where is the accountability for officials in our sport? And he talks about it, Jake. Man, we have a meeting every single Monday. We go over the game tape. We send the SEC or the ACC 10, 12, 15 plays. We get nothing in return. We get an email that says we're sorry. That is unacceptable, Dabo Swinney. I just want to say I stand in solidarity with you. I stand in solidarity with you on this because it is ridiculous, Jake.
No, there's too much on the line. There's too much at stake for there not to be some sort of accountability when jobs can be lost, people can get fired, millions of dollars can be lost.
Yes,
because of one call in one football game. Yes, you can make the argument, well, it didn't all come down to one call. Yeah, but man, one call can change the outcome of a game. We all know that football is a game of inches.
Yep.
The outcome of the Florida game could have been completely different if DJ
100%.
Lagway throws the ball a yard
100%.
farther. So football's a game of inches. It all comes down to very, very thin margins. And if there could be some serious repercussions for players and for coaches, there has to be some sort of standard and some sort of accountability for the Zebras. There has to be.
And do not give me they're graded. They're graded, and if they don't get good grades, they can't coach. They can't officiate in the playoffs. Give me a break.
Simple fix.
Give me a break.
Because there's a lot of money being thrown around. Yes. Pay them more and hold them to a higher standard. Just pay them more. We want it to be an incentive to be a good referee. We want that in our sport. So pay them more, but hold them accountable.
Absolutely. Hey, I got a good idea on how you can get paid more. Get on the PrizePicks app. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. When you play your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly. Sports plus PrizePicks equals cash for you. Sports plus PrizePicks equals cash for you. There's so many sports on right now. It is the best time of year. Get on the PrizePicks app. Download it now. Use the promo code PUNT. First $5 entry, you get $50 instantly. Here's what you need to put your first $5 entry on. The DB3 piece. You ready? Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback. They're taking on LSU this weekend in Bryant-Denny. More than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia's quarterback. On the road in Starkville, 240.5 passing yards. I'm going to go less than that. I think they run the ball a lot in Starkville, try to get out of there, grind out a win. J.M. Miller, Alabama running back. More than a rushing or receiving touchdown. I think Alabama's going to lay it on LSU. I think Ty Simpson and that offense are going to put a ton of points on the board. So I'm rolling heavy with the Tide, and I got Gunnar Stockton in here as well. Take that first $5 entry on PrizePicks after you use the promo code PUNT. You will get $50 instantly, win or lose, but guess what? You're going to win. Here's the DB3 piece. Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia quarterback, less than 240.5 passing yards. Jam Miller, Bama running back, more than a rushing or receiving touchdown. PrizePicks.com, download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. Shout out to PrizePicks. Hey, football is all about game plans, and winning cases is no different. Humberto Injury Law builds a strategy tailored to each client. Make sure nothing gets overlooked. Just like breaking down film, they study every angle to give you the best shot at success. Learn more at HumbertoInjuryLaw.com or call them today, 770-888-8901. That is HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. All right, let's break down these games. Let's go inside the 5 here, Jake. We'll start with the Dawgs at Mississippi State. Noon kick on ESPN. Georgia, 7.5-point favorite. The total, 57.5 points. What are you thinking here, my man?
57.5 points. Mississippi State has been throwing some points around, specifically the Texas game, the Arkansas game. I think it comes down to our defense and how they are able to adapt to Mississippi State and kind of Jordan Hall going down, being able to fill those shoes, that presence at the defensive line. And man, being a noon/11 a.m. kickoff on the road, how does the offense start? How does the defense play? That's kind of where my mind is going here. I am expecting this team to kind of settle into their groove. I think they do cover. I think they win by 10 points.
Wow.
I think because of the messaging that, hey, this is the trap game, that this is the game that's going to get them.
They're going to be hearing that a lot.
Yeah, they're going to be hearing that all week. And I don't think they're buying into that. And I think they're going to set a narrative a different way here.
All right. I totally agree with you on Jordan Hall. I absolutely do. They've got to figure out who's going to step up and fill that role because Mississippi State's going to start fast. Their offense loves to get out and get on the perimeter and play at a fast pace. That's what Jeff Lebby has really had his MOB ever since he's been an offensive play caller. It's going to be a different type atmosphere. I think Georgia is going to take the kind of grinded out approach. You do not want to get into a shootout with Mississippi State. I promise you, you do not. So how do you limit the quick game that turns into explosive?
But they've been in a shootout with Tennessee.
I know they have.
Been in a shootout with Ole Miss. Those are two of the best offenses in the SEC.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Telling me Mississippi State's going to be the demise of this Georgia football team?
Here's what I am saying.
Try again, Drew Butler. Try again.
This point spread makes 0 sense. 0 cents. 0 cents.
Spoken Georgia, by a professional gambler.
Yeah. Georgia wins by a touchdown. Georgia wins by a touchdown. That's what I'll say. Now, is it going to be 40-33? I mean, I hope not. Would I be okay with 24-17, yes. You got to have long, sustained drives if you're Georgia's offense. Keep Mississippi State's offense off the field. Just keep them off the field. Grind it out. Have that heavyweight boxer mentality when you go in there. I would love nothing more than a 12 or a 14-play drive for Georgia that ends in a touchdown out the gate. Like, just impose your will. Say, we're going to pull you down into the mud, and you're not going to be able to survive. I think that's the style of play that Georgia needs. I think the running backs and the offensive line step up to the challenge. That is my prediction. Even a 34-27. I'm good with that. And I think that could be a very realistic outcome here because it falls right there on the total of 57.5. So I'm going to go 34-27 Dogs. I think Mississippi State will be feisty. It might be a backdoor cover. Georgia could be up 14 and then Mississippi State scores, but this line makes no sense. I am just very, very weary of that point spread. So I like the Dogs. Jake likes him way more. Look, you got to get up and get ready to go. It's going to be a good one because you're turning around and you're taking on Texas at home in what's probably the most anticipated game of Georgia's regular season.
Yeah, 31-21 Dogs.
All right. Hey, how about this game? Number 3 Texas A&M at 22nd ranked Missouri, 3:30 p.m. kick on ABC. A&M's a 6.5-point favorite. The total here is 48.5 points. I think both teams, are they both coming off a bye? I'm going to pull that up right now, Jake, but this is a good matchup here.
Man, this is an excellent matchup here. And I was thinking Missouri has had some really big-time football games, and especially at home. They played Bama at home this year. They have Texas A&M at home this year, and their stadium is just under massive construction. Like, what a missed opportunity for an incredible atmosphere.
I know.
Up there in Missouri with these games. This 3:30 game, later on in the second half is going to be night. Man, this thing could really be rocking in a crazy atmosphere if they happen to have a close game or even be ahead. I don't know, man. Watch out for this Missouri football team. Eli Drinkwitz, he's trying to audition for one of these jobs.
Great. Well said. You're exactly right.
And if he is able to slip up and beat one of these teams, one of these good football teams in this kind of last quarter of the football season, dude, he's getting one of these jobs.
Yep.
And he's gonna make a lot of money. So the watch out for this game right here. Texas A&M, they're kind of buying stock in themselves right now. They like it. Man, they're kind of in new territory, feeling good about themselves. It's just Missouri. Who cares about Missouri? Watch out for Missouri. I'm going to take them here with the spread the way it is. I think this is going to be a very, very close football game, just because Eli Drinkwitz has a lot on the line this game.
So do you think Mizzou wins or keeps it within 6.5?
I think they keep it within 6.5. I don't know if they win. They keep it within 6.5.
Both teams are coming off a bye. I think the X factor, not necessarily an X factor because he's a starting quarterback, but it's Marcel Reed. I think Prabula. I have not heard otherwise. I'll look it up. I believe Prabula.
I'll look that up. I'll look that up. You go ahead.
Bye week, but look, Texas A&M's defense is for real. Their quarterback Marcel Reed is a dual threat playmaker that comes big time in handy when you're on the road. It should be a pretty great environment, but I like Missouri with the points too. I would not be surprised if Missouri wins this football game. Let me just go ahead and say that. I would not be surprised if Missouri wins this football game. I think the bye week plays into Texas A&M's favor. I'll take Missouri with the 6.5, but it should be a great game at 3:30 there on ABC.
So, all right, Prabula is not playing against A&M, but I think that actually plays into Missouri's favor.
There you go. Thank you.
Because Texas A&M is going to take them less seriously. Go ahead.
Okay, there you go. I like it. This is a game where, man, everybody was thinking this is going to be an instant classic earlier on in the season. Now, not so much. LSU at 4th-ranked Alabama. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Alabama, a 10.5-point favorite. The total is 49.5. Both teams are coming off a bye. Of course, this is LSU's first game since firing head coach Brian Kelly. I don't know. I just think that I'm usually one, Jake, to say, the post-head coach firing bump, the guys are going to be juiced up. They're going to play hard. But having the bye week, I think, takes a little bit of the sting out of it. I think Alabama rolls big.
See, I see this game playing out exactly like the Georgia-Florida game.
Really?
To me, this is exactly the same. LSU has a good quarterback.
Nussmeier is just not doing it this year. I mean, neither is DJ Lagway.
He's playing injured. But I mean, he's having a better year than DJ Lagway is having.
Yes.
Okay. So, both teams, good quarterback. I think they are two good leaders. And even more so with LSU, kind of getting BK out of of the building. Like, I think that's like a dark, dreary cloud over their head that has gone away, and now it is a bright and sunny day.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I think there's a lot more to this with the kind of emotional fortitude of this LSU football team, and I think this is going to be very similar playing out the way the Georgia-Florida game did. So give me LSU here with the points.
Okay.
Do they win? I have no idea. But I do think it is a very close game, and it's going to be blow for blow, much like that Georgia-Florida game was.
All right. That'll be a fun one to watch. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. LSU at 4th-ranked Alabama. Okay, quickly. And as you know by now, if you're a longtime Punt and Pass listener, as the college football playoff rankings come into the picture, we've kind of broadened our scope on Inside the Five and touch on games that are going to impact those rankings. How about this matchup? 7th-ranked BYU at 8th-ranked Texas Tech, noon kick on ABC. I think this is where College Game Day is this week. Texas Tech, a 10.5-point favorite. The total here is 52.5. Jake, you don't have to go too deep here, but what do you like? BYU's been physical. Texas Tech's been high-powered. This is a good matchup.
Yeah, 10.5 is a lot of points. I think for this, other than the Georgia game, and I'm like all underdogs this week.
There you go. Dogs are barking.
Give me BYU. Give me the
I
Cougs.
like BYU too with the 10.5 points. Look, BYU's undefeated. Texas Tech, of course, has that loss to Arizona State when they were without their quarterback. It's in Lubbock. That's an 11 a.m. kick. I like BYU on the road to win that game. So that's going to be a fun one. How about this matchup in the Big Ten? 9th-ranked Oregon at 20th-ranked Iowa. This is your 3:30 CBS game. Hello, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. We've missed you. Oregon is a 6.5-point favorite. The total is 40.5. Iowa's not the easiest place to play. They have been pretty consistent this season as well. I do think Oregon can go in there, not turn the ball over, and win by a touchdown. So I'll take Oregon.
Yeah, Iowa they never seem to score enough points in any of their football games, but they do play some really, really good defense. Give me Oregon here in this one. I think they blow that kind of 6.5 number out of the water. Like, I'm thinking 14 points. Yep. Like, I think this is where Oregon runs away with it and makes their stamp kind of back on the college football playoff scenario of like, hey, you forgot about us. Hey, we're that redheaded stepchild right now, and we're back. Don't forget about us because we're the Ducks.
Look, it's a big weekend for college football. I love it. A couple of other games in the SEC. Auburn at Vanderbilt. I like Auburn in that game, Jake. That's the true head coach firing bump. Right after the week, DJ Durkin's taken over. Hugh Freeze, the distractions are out. So I like Auburn on the road against Vanderbilt. Florida's at Kentucky. Florida showed some life last week. I think Florida can win there too. So any thoughts on those two games real quick?
Man, Auburn's if they're able to score points, man, they're playing some really good defense. Like, defense has not been their issue. It's just been scoring points. We saw in the Florida game a different play caller and some life on offense. Maybe that's what Auburn needed as well. Florida, man, I really hope they can bounce back. I'd like to see this team fight a little bit because they have been absolutely shafted with their schedule this year.
Yes,
it has been really bad. They've played some really tough teams. This is a game they circled. This is a must-win when they go and play Kentucky.
All right. I love it. Going to be an awesome week 11 of college football. Hey, thanks to our partners, PrizePicks. That's right. This episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the promo code PUNT. Your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly. The DB3 piece will be up on social media this weekend. And remember, Humberto Injury Law is your first call when accidents happen. Don't wait. Visit HumbertoInjuryLaw.com today. Humberto Injury Law, protecting people, fighting for justice, winning results. 770-888-8901. Humberto is mi amigo. He can be yours too. That's HumbertoInjuryLaw.com. Follow us on social media. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at From Jake, at Punt and Pass. Jake, anything on the way out, my man?
No, man, another exciting weekend of college football. It's going to be exciting for the Fromm family.
Good luck to y'all.
Our second. So any minute, any day now, we're excited. So please be praying for us.
I will, my man. Congratulations. Good luck. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you on Monday. See ya.
We out.